Have an exciting afternoon with you today. We have Megan Hillyer with Modern Genealogy. We're going to be celebrating your family stories of past and present. So I invite you to join us today as we talk with a genealogist at the church. So this is going to be exciting. What I'm going to do is Megan has a long history of studying genealogy, living in Canada, actually, and she's going to be joining me here in Utah. She helps you get started with your family history and your needs, which is cool. So I brought some temple names today that we're going to talk about, and I'm going to send her an invite to join us. Let me figure this one out. Who's excited for this? This is really cool. So, and get your questions ready, and we will see if I can get her to join. Hold on. MEG. I am not a good multitasker. Here she is. All right. So invite, and we'll see if that works. But we know with technology, we never know. Hello, Megan. It's so good to see you.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Great. It's been a while since we've seen each other or talked.
It has.
It has.
Can't remember when that was. But.
I'm super excited. It was last winter, I believe. So, but I'm really excited about this. So I actually was printing off some names today that I'm going to be taking to the temple. So you inspired me. So thank you.
Good. I'm so glad.
This is great. So I gave everybody a brief history of yourself. I said we're going to be celebrating our families with Megan Hillyer and stories from the past and present as well. And we highly encourage you, click on the caption up top and you can arrow down and click follow Modern Genealogy. She's an LDS genealogist helping you get started with your family history. And I understand you have some free courses, so we're going to talk about that today. But would you like to give us some history about yourself and why I fell in love with you as a friend?
Oh, sure. Yeah, so I live in Alberta, Canada, with my husband and 7 kids. Um, when did I start? So like 4 years ago or so, I decided to get a degree in family history research. I got that from BYU Idaho online. And I just, right as soon as I started learning how to do family history, like how to actually search for records effectively, I just wanted to help other people do it. So I have some free courses, I have a paid course, and I just love helping people.
I love that. So I deal with a lot of people, Megan, that say that they've never done genealogy. And what would you say to that?
Well, I'd say if they want to start, there's a few options. So FamilySearch is a great free website that
Yeah.
you can get on there and build your tree. There's a collaborative tree, so it's okay if you didn't do anything. Once you find one of your ancestors in the tree, you can learn all about them from what other people have contributed there. So I recommend just getting onto FamilySearch and see if you can find one of your ancestors there
Yeah,
and start learning.
it's pretty cool because I started with FamilySearch just before I was baptized, and I was told by everyone in my ward, don't pay for it because it's free once you get baptized. And I'm like, is there anything that we don't give away for free?
Yes,
I guess agency, we have the right to choose, right? So
that's true.
that's true. But I just love genealogy. And when I was on your podcast a year ago, the spirit was definitely felt. And I just have to say to everyone watching, if you're not following Modern Genealogy, please do so by clicking in the tab above, and it will say you can follow her because she has a lot of great advice. But I have my tree right here, and I'm super excited with all the pictures I've uploaded. And I just feel inspired to share a story, if that's okay. Is that okay,
Yeah,
Megan? Okay.
for sure.
So on December 27th of last year, my grandma passed away, but it was a beautiful celebration on my end because I was able to teach her the plan of salvation. And she was able to say, you mean that I'm going to be sealed with grandpa forever? And I just melted. And I just really felt Well, I gave her a comfort blessing and she passed away. I in the comfort blessing, it said, God is waiting for you to say, I'm ready before you go to bed. And 2 nights later, she passed away in her sleep peacefully.
Mhm.
And entering her name in FamilySearch was one of the most joyous experiences. The morning that she passed, I immediately went to FamilySearch and entered her name and put deceased, and I had nothing but peace. And
That's nice.
you must get that from helping people with family history.
Yeah, well, I think everyone wants to connect to their ancestors, and I think they just don't know how, right?
Yeah.
And so learning how to use Family Search or other websites like Ancestry or whatever to learn about them, like I think we all want to feel a part of something bigger, and that's how we can do that through our family history.
And that's why I'm super excited about this, because I don't know if you're aware, but I have a new calling. And so I'm communications, and my calling is to do FamilySearch and just serve and to share that with other denominations to help them become better Christians. And that's, or better Catholics, or better Jews, or better Muslims, if you may, and help them strengthen their congregations. So it's a great resource that we have,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Now, would you like to talk? So we have some comments. You have a cousin on here, Richard.
Oh, oh yeah, he's my husband's cousin. Yep.
Okay, he says, she's my cousin. And then we have another one. Annie says, yay, Canada. We love our friends in Canada. And then we have my friend Sandy in West Jordan says, me. I'm not sure what we were talking about then, but maybe
I don't know.
she wants to do the free course you have. Let's talk about
Maybe.
your free course.
Yeah, so I have one right now that's it's all about using ordinances ready. So a lot of the things that we are encouraged to do is to find ancestors or people in our tree that they need their temple work done, right? And Family Search has made it pretty easy now, especially for those of us who have a pretty full tree. Like if you're descended from Mormon pioneers or whatever, sometimes it's hard to find direct line ancestors that need their temple work done or whatever. So if you go onto Family Search and click on temple, if you're a member of the church, and you can use ordinances ready, where you can just select people that you want to do their temple work done, right? Well, I think that's great, and it makes it a lot easier, but I feel like there's a missing part of it, is knowing who we're doing the work for.
Yeah.
And so in this little course, it's a 5-day little mini course, you get a lesson sent to you every day to learn how to actually connect to that person that you're doing temple work for. So I show you how to navigate on Family Search and learn about them, how to look at records about them. Maybe you can find even more information about them before you do their temple work. So that's a free little class that I have that anyone can go sign up. The link is in my bio to sign up for that.
That's great. That's great. Now I just heard recently, and I'm not sure if this is true or false, so maybe you may know the answer to this, that do we have to wait a year now to do our ancestors' names? Like, am I allowed to do my grandmother's now? I heard we're allowed to call the temple and have them reserve that for us. Do you know anything about this, or?
I don't know anything. As far as I know, you have to wait a year if
Okay.
they've died, like if they, yeah, have
Okay.
died recently. But if they're born more than 110 years ago, you can
Hmm.
do whoever you're related to.
That's great. So we have a question from bowling_lover 1234. I love that. I'm serving a mission at Family Search Library.
Oh, nice.
That's awesome. So you probably know my friend Brother Brand, who works with Family Search, and my friend Wendy that works there. So there's a lot of people that I know, and we're all here to help you. Dr. Christy Kane, who is a leading psychologist that consults with the First Presidency on a lot of things, is on and says love it. My friend Colleen Lowe says hello friends, and she's from California. And so is there any advice that you can give us for let's say converts joining, or even lifelong members that have trees that, I find that when you get a nugget, if you may, and like I've been working on the German side for so long, and it's like all of a sudden I just found a nugget that is exploding with names, and it's so exciting to be able to, it's kind of like picking for diamonds, and you find that cavity and then it just explodes with all these diamonds, which are my relatives and ancestors. um, Anything you have to say would be great, because you're the expert. I'm just the student.
Yeah, so a couple things. So if you're just starting out, if you're like, I don't even know anything about my family tree, maybe your grandparents or great grandparents aren't even on FamilySearch, and you're just starting with yourself, um, just start with something. It can seem really overwhelming, especially if you see your friends in the church that have huge family trees. Just start with yourself. Find information about your parents. Make sure that you have their marriage dates and death dates and everything written down, and put that
Yes.
into FamilySearch. Then work your way back just step by step. And in FamilySearch, there's a thing called record hints. So
Mm,
they scan all of their records against the information that you've put in there for your family tree, and they'll find records for your ancestors.
I
Now
love
you have to
that.
be careful with them and make sure you're only attaching records that actually are for your ancestors. You have to look at them, but
Yeah.
it, now family history is way easier than it ever has been,
Yeah.
just because of the advances in computers and everything. So yeah, just get on to FamilySearch and start digging, and then you'll find one of those nuggets like Dennis you were talking about.
Yeah, and that's, now if you're somebody out there that's struggling with these nuggets, or finding this is where I would recommend you reach out to a professional, like our friend Megan, who, this is something she has her certificate in, and that's important that we know when to reach out for help. So, do you still have your podcast that you do?
I have it.
Okay, I get it.
We'll be relaunching in January is the plan.
Okay,
Yeah, life gets crazy, but
I get it.
yeah, there's lots of genealogists out there. If you There will come a point in your research that you need some help. Okay,
Yeah.
whether that's with your ward, temple, and family history consultant, if you have some that are knowledgeable that can help you with some harder research. I do have an online course that you can purchase that I show you how to research a family from start to finish, and how to find records and where to look for them, and how to tell if they're right and all of that.
Mm.
But there will come a point when it just gets too hard.
Yeah.
Whether if you're researching Germany like you are, and maybe the records aren't going to be online, maybe they're
Yeah.
only in some archive in a church or whatever, you'll
Yeah.
need to hire a genealogist. So there are lots of us out there, and
Yeah.
they're eager to help you build their tree.
Yes. And that's and a lot of names I have that are extremely German, I can't even pronounce. Like there's one here that is just, look at, that's one, two, three, four, five, six.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, I want to do this because I've done their baptism and confirmation on February 19th, 2018, and at the Boston Temple. And I did their initiatory on October 26th, 2018, and they're next in my list. But I need to take some lessons on how to pronounce these names. So it's cool. But I love leaving people with an action plan. So if um, somebody is on here and you haven't done family history, when you and I did the podcast together, we kept it at 20 minutes and it was great. And what I'll do is I'll share a link to that podcast in my stories, and you can listen to Megan and I having a really great heartfelt connection where the spirit was felt just like I feel it today. I got little goosebumps. um, Really, I highly recommend listening to that, but also reaching out and asking questions and posting comments when she posts something, or even following FamilySearch, the official blue checkmark
Mhm.
page on our church. They're eager to answer questions. They always get back to me, with
Mhm.
stuff. So They're a wealth of knowledge. But so my action plan is, last year I was really big into doing 20 minutes a day on FamilySearch and setting a timer on my phone, and just and setting reminders to say, Dennis, you haven't done your family history today. So I've lowered that a little bit because 20 minutes was adding up a lot. So
Mhm.
I now try to do 10 minutes a day. And on Sundays, I tend to spend a little longer. So I don't set a timer. But I would like to leave an action plan with everybody that's watching, whether that's on, this is live or on IGTV, to develop, prayerfully consider and ponder an action plan that would work for you. Whether you have names that need to be done, or you don't have names, or you can help a friend with names, or you can, a lot of people I know in the church, because they were born into the church, they don't have names to do. So what would be your advice for them?
Yeah, for those that have been in the church, is that what you mean?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people have a false idea of that.
Yeah.
I've heard from a lot of people that they're like, well, my tree's all done. My mom has taken care of it. It's all done. But I don't believe it. So
Yeah.
if you want to prove me wrong, you can show me your tree and I'll find someone. But there is lots of ways that you can find people, and also to remember that it's not all about temple work.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of the most powerful moments that I've had in family history is from learning about those ancestors that are closer to me, my great grandparents, my great great grandparents. Just looking at a census record and seeing, oh, that they were a farmer, and maybe seeing where they lived, and you can look up where they lived on Google Maps or something. Just
Mm,
learning all these little things about them that just helps you to feel them.
yeah.
And that is why I do this. This is why I want to help everyone do this, because it's powerful. Those connections are real. They are real people that are
Yeah.
still there beyond the veil, and they're
Yeah.
there to help us. So if you can just, even just learning their names, knowing where they lived, those little things can help you feel their power and feel that strength in your life. So,
I, yeah, it just, I feel my brother present right now, Darren, and you know the story. And and I feel my grandma. She's here as an angel, and they are waiting for their work to be done. And we can all, if we have that temple recommend, if we are a full temple recommend holder, which I keep in my wallet at all times, this is my wallet. And it reminds me every time I see this to bring honor to my ancestors. And Megan, you just sharing that emotion really touched home with me. It makes me want to, I'm in Utah right now, and there's 3 temples within 20 minutes. And I'm thinking, wow, I just would love to get in the car and go
mhm,
and see if they have an opening, because it's beautiful.
mhm.
Thank you for that testimony. Um, we have a friend of yours, I think, said, Diane said there's Google Translate. And I said, thank you for that. And my friend Karen says, your ancestors help you find them. And she is so
That's true.
true. And another friend, Diane, says, 2 red hearts. And so if you have questions for Megan, please post them in the comments. We're not going to keep you for long. We like to keep these short so that you can get a lot of information out of them. And I'm actually staying with a host family in Pleasant Grove right now. And I'm not really set up, but the way the light's coming in the window, you can see it's like I have a
Some
halo around
streaks.
my, yeah, I have some streaks. So I'm not set up for doing this, but I still wanted to come on, and I was supposed to go on with Megan 2.5 weeks ago, but I got stuck in Oklahoma and my flight was canceled like 7 or 8 times. So I want to thank you for being accommodating for this, and being flexible. But
Yeah.
so, do you have any success stories of people that you've worked with that you've helped find, like ancestors that they were just elated about finding?
Ah, I can't think of one off the top of my head, but I will share. So my one of my biggest success stories, I guess you could say, is with my mom. So
Yeah.
my dad has always been the big family historian. And my mom is know that it's important, but hasn't ever really taken the step to learn how to do it because it just felt too hard. So with me doing this online course with her, she now can do family history, and her mom was born in Wales. And if you're familiar with uh, family in Wales, there's about 10 surnames. Seems like
Mm.
half the people have the surname of Jones and they're all named William. And so it's really hard. Like it gets difficult and then it gets into like patronymics and things. But she has just piece by piece learned how to do it and is fixing a lot of the messes in FamilySearch and getting it all cleared up. And just seeing her
Mm.
to be able to do that and to be able to find those people has been really cool to see. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and I
That
think
that
there's been a
yeah.
few times that um, I've found certain people. So doing just as I was learning in classes, I found 5 more siblings for my great great
Mhm.
grandmother. We thought there was just 4, and there was 5 older
Wow.
children as I was looking through census records. And so that's why I say when people say their tree is all done,
It's
there's
not.
always more you can find. Now that there's
Yeah.
more records available and more things, you can search for siblings of your ancestors, their children.
Yeah.
Like it's never ending. So
I love that. Now, for those of you who are watching, we did not plan this. We've been texting back and forth on our phones. So we didn't, this is organic, just going by the spirit. And so, but we have a question from, let's see, I don't want to miss anybody. Somebody says, sometimes your ancestors add blessings on you, and that is true. Um, 20 MODO says, well, my dear brother, I need your help, please. Brother, you need to reach out to our friend Megan because this is her forte. I am not a genealogist. I have just stumbled upon this by joining the church, and it's a blessing that we have as being a part of the church. We're the only religion in the world that does proxy baptisms and confirmations for our ancestors on the other side.
mhm.
And so if you're not a member watching and would like to find out how to study, you can go to FamilySearch.org, or you can go to comeunto Christ.org on Instagram and request to study with a missionary around the world. And we are a worldwide church with missionaries serving all over the world that are willing to help and answer your questions. My friend Karen says it's oh so special that family history is closely connected to missionary service.
Mhm.
So I like that. Bowling underscore lover 125 says the FamilySearch library I serve has a story room where you can bring in your grandparents and they can tell their story on video. So you
Okay.
can, that's really cool. Um, and then you also said we are living with, okay. Karen says, I have experienced the help from ancestors in finding their information, literal miracles. And it is. And she also goes on to saying, what about the new limit of 300 names we can reserve so more families can help? What
Mhm.
about converts who don't have family to help? That's from my friend Karen had asked that. If you're
Mhm.
able to answer that, that's fine. If not,
Yeah.
we understand.
Yeah, so the church has just announced, might have been even just yesterday, that there's a limit of how many names you can reserve for temple work. And
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic because
Yeah.
a lot of people hoard names. They'll reserve every name that they can find in the
Mm,
family tree, and then they can't do it all, right? And
no.
so I think it's so much more. exciting, especially for people that are just logging into FamilySearch, to be able to find a name to take to the temple. Well, if everyone
Yeah.
has hoarded them all, they can't do that. So I think it's great that there's a limit now that you have 300 names, which is still a lot of
Yeah.
names that you can reserve to take to the temple.
That's great, Megan. So, do you have a website that you would like to share with us? I
Sure.
am going to share this as IGTV so people can follow you, and I'll tag you in it. But
Okay.
if you have a website or any
Yeah.
information,
Yeah,
go
I have a
for it.
website. It's moderngenealogy.ca because I'm Canadian. Um,
Yeah,
and
love it.
genealogy is spelled Genealogy. That's a hard word to spell.
Yeah,
But yeah,
it's
if you
okay.
follow me, I have all the links in my bio, and yeah, you can learn more there.
Yeah. And our friend Christine.Higgins says, and it's a huge limit. It is a huge limit. So that is such a, to be able to reserve 300 names is a
That's
lot.
so,
So
yeah.
there's plenty to go around.
Yeah,
And
Christine's one of my students, so that's nice to hear her that she's
oh,
here.
that's great to hear. She's
Yeah,
one of your students. That's awesome,
yeah.
Christine. Keep up bringing honor to your ancestor and return with honor is what I always say. So, well, I guess we're gonna end it at this, and we've been on for almost a half hour, and Karen is the last comment we have. Definitely need a lot of help. They won't let me stop their names. Thanks for your answering. Yes, and we're all here. I always say this is not a church. Even though we are an organization, we're family and we help each
Mhm.
other. So we are sending love and light your way. And don't forget to keep calm and go to the temple. Any closing words, Megan?
I don't think so. Just download the FamilySearch app and start
Yeah,
connecting with your ancestors.
it's worth it. Have a great day, everybody, and use this time to go to FamilySearch, and we're excited to hear your comments below. Bye for now, everybody.
Okay.
Thank you, Megan. This was great.
Yeah, it was.
Have a great day, and feel free to call my iPhone in about 10 minutes after I upload this if you need me.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
See you.
Bye bye.
Bye.